Remember when you were young and everything in life seemed so much more fun and the possibilities seemed endless? Is that still the same for you, or has life become a serious business? Wherever you are, you can change it. What if more magic, fun, and possibilities were available to you right here, right now? Join Laura and Alun in the playground of possibility as they play, laugh, and explore new ways you can use to make your life more fun and to create more of what you desire.
Hello and welcome to the Playground Possibilities with myself, Laura Borland, and my very lovely playmate, Alan Jones.
Hello.
And our very, very yummy...
For me. Sorry.
And a delayed response. Get with the program. And our very yummy guest today, which is just awesome, is the very lovely Glenyce Hughes. Hello, Glenyce.
Hello, and thank you so much for having me on today, you guys. I am just thrilled to be talking to you.
You're smiling. I can hear you smiling.
Oh, I am. It's 8 a.m. in my world, and it's just a great day to be alive.
Awesome. So, Alan, tell us about the show.
Well, I can do that, actually. So, because I'm really
I'm very
organised,
glad about
except
that.
I can't remember my name. I'm just like, who am I? Where's my handbag? There it is. So,
That's like a joke of 6 weeks ago. You need to come a new one.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, everybody. But the old ones are the best. So we have with us today the amazing and gorgeous and totally magical Alun Jones, and we also have we've got Laura and Glenyce, just these two women that I know that just happen to be totally phenomenal. So we are really, really pleased. We are totally honoured to have Glenyce on the show. And so the show today, so let's just very quickly read through the write on who Glenyce is. So, have you always known magic was possible? Would you like to be as magical as you have always known is possible? So why don't you listen in with us today as we play and discuss tools, stories, processes, and invite you to be the magic you truly be. So that's what today's about. It's all about magic. And who better to play with us than Glenyce Hughes, who is an inspirational author, and yes, she totally is. She's a speaker, a radio show host of her own, she's a facilitator of infinite possibilities, and just this amazing empowerer of awesomeness. She travels the world, empowering people to live their phenomenal life as she guides them to tap into their true potency, potential, and all the amazing infinite possibilities. A true luminary, she's inspired thousands around the world through her radio shows, writing, classes, telecalls, groups, individual sessions, and actually I'm going to add something to that, just being. But there you go. So, Glenyce, welcome to the Playground of Possibilities.
Oh, thank you so much. I am just so grateful to be here and in the Playground of Possibilities. I mean, what better place to be than in the Playground of Possibilities?
We don't ask just anyone into the Playground of Possibilities. We only ask people who want to play. No fun, you don't get in. Did I say that? Yep. Okay.
Yes, you said it out loud. You did say it out loud, Laura. Very naughty girl.
Sorry.
So Glenyce, magic. What's it all about?
So for me, magic is a being. We talked about being and just being. It's not so much a doing. So many of us were brought up that it was a doing, maybe pulling rabbits out of hats or making people disappear, that sort of stuff. But really for me, magic is the ability to be whatever's required to change anything. And it's a being. So it's being willing to be whatever's required. So in some cases, let's say you're staying in a hotel and the people next to you are really noisy, and the magic sometimes might be being what would be judged by this reality, the bitch, who goes and knocks on their door and asks them to turn the music down or turn the TV off or whatever it is. It's that willingness to be it. It's also the willingness to be crazy enough to ask let's say the weather to change. If it's rainy and you would like some sunshine, magic is the willingness to be whatever is required to change whatever. So it's a different way than where most people have that idea of what magic is. It's just the willingness to be.
That is such an awesome way of putting it, because, sorry, Laura, I know you were about to say something, so I'll shut up and let you speak.
No, well, thank you, because I was going to say, magic can often sound really fantastical to people, and it's like when you were describing that, Glenyce, it was making me think actually it's quite a grounded way of being, because there's something around that. It's like, we look at so many things in our world and we decide and conclude that they're solid, and who are we to ask to change the weather, right? Yeah, exactly. And so once we begin to kind of like, have the awareness that everything's malleable and it's all energy, then it's a really lovely, lovely world to begin to step into.
Yeah. I would kind of echo what Laura was saying there, Glenyce, because for me it's like magic has been that thing around, it is about, the kind of, either it's an illusion and it's not really real, you're not really doing magic, or it's stuff that is, you have to do kind of really complex potions and wordings and all of that kind of stuff. It's not a being, it's a, it kind of blows my mind.
Yeah, and a lot of people really see it as separate from us, because of the doing part. So it's separate, and we can only be magical if we've said the right words, or we've got the right potion, or we've done the right thing with our magic wand, when really it's a being. And it's just the willingness to be whatever that is and not get caught up in it. So a few weeks ago we flew to Mexico, and our plane was delayed a lot, and I could have went into the wrongness of me and the lack of magic that I have in terms of, well, I didn't get the plane, it wasn't on time, and in fact it was delayed. I don't even remember if it was like 10 hours or something like that, and so I wasn't magic enough to do that. Yet I just know that that's not what's going to create more. So I was willing to stay in the question of, okay, well, what else is possible? And when we finally did get on the plane, I was like, okay, what's it going to take to create more money for all of us with this delay? And I was just playing. It was just the question that popped in. I was just playing around with that, just being in the space. I fell asleep. I woke up, and on the airplane table in front of me were some papers, and I said to my husband, "What is that?" And he said, "Oh, because of the delay, the airline is giving us all money."
Oh, wow.
But
like,
But Glenyce, when you said that, what I really heard was, it's like, so actually we could, if you'd concluded that you weren't doing you weren't kind of like doing magic because you didn't, because the plane was still delayed, it made me think, so actually, because what if there was something greater that was possible than the plane, like leaving in time? Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. And that really was light for me, Laura, the whole time that it was being delayed. It was like I really perceived that getting on the plane, that they were trying to get us, get ready for us or get fixed because it was broken. I really, really had the energy that wasn't the plane that was going to create more for us to be on. I'm not saying it was going to crash. I don't know. I really perceived that wasn't the one. So it was like, okay, then what magic is possible? And it was the magic of, them bringing in a different plane, and for sure. So how much do we actually shut magic down because we've decided how it has to look? Or if we were truly magical, we'd never experience a 10-hour plane delay. Well, what you say, like, what if that actually was why I'm still here in a body? I mean, who knows?
Absolutely, yeah.
That's because as you were talking about that, Glenyce, that whole thing around, well, if I was really magical, then I would never have delays, I would never have difficulties, I would just wave my wand for everything that happens, and it would all just be exactly the way I think it should be. And how limiting is that? As you said, how limiting is that in terms of where we could create something even greater?
Yes, and exactly what you just said, Alun, that we think it should be. And thinking is one of the greatest limitations that we have, because we can only think and create when we create based on our thinking, we can only create what we've actually seen somebody else create or we've created in the past. So we actually limit it so much compared to staying in the space of what else is really possible here. Even if I would have said, okay, what would it take for the airline to give us $100 or something like that? That's a limitation, instead of being in the space of, okay, what would it take for all of us to get more money than we never imagined possible for this delay? I didn't even put it to the airline. I didn't care how it came. And I honestly don't even know why I went to money. Like it was just like I was just playing with, okay, what question is going to create more for all of us? Because there were so many upset people, like beyond upset people, and it's just kind of playing in that space and really, really being with that. And it was just money came in and asking that question, instead of it being like, well, now it has to look like this and it must be like this and this is the way it should be, and last time I was delayed they gave me this, and instead it was just like, okay, what else is truly possible here that we've never even considered?
Because often we ask for the magic, but we've totally decided what the magic will be.
Yes.
That's cute.
And also, how often do we not acknowledge the magic we have been? So I absolutely know I can change the weather. That's just a complete given for me, and I don't tell everybody that because people think that I'm mad. But the fact that I'm talking,
just say it on the radio, then, eh?
Yeah, I just say it on the radio. So the fact that potentially thousands of millions of people will hear this, and they will.
And they will curse you upside down.
They will listen to this. It's like, so I was going to Brighton to do a class down in Brighton, and they were predicting the worst storms ever in Brighton. I kid you not, there were weather warnings and all sorts. I was thinking, oh my God. So I was asking questions, what change can I be? What would it take for it to be kind of a clear day? And we had crystal clear blue skies, some of the hottest days they've ever had in Brighton. Not a cloud in the sky. And and that was literally within the space of 24 hours changed. And then comes that thing around, was that just luck, or did it really create that?
How many times we do it? I'm so glad that you said that, Alun, because it's so true. Because it's like I created something quite magical last week or the week before, I forget, and it was all so easy. And then I was like, yeah, but that would have happened anyway, right? And it was amazing. Yeah, I know. It's like, then it's like completely went into my head with the kind of like, denying the magic, I guess.
And let's look at that. Like, what is the value of doing that? Like, if you're, when you create it and then you discount it, what does it do?
Actually, what it's doing, and the first thing that came into my head when you said that was, it's about kind of like not allowing myself to acknowledge the potency I truly be.
Yeah, and it always ensures that you can't create greater than the magic you just created.
Okay.
So everything that is, can I use the clearing statement on you?
You can, because you're a certified facilitator, so go ahead.
Okay, awesome. So everything that is, and everywhere it might have created some crazy in your mind right now for everybody listening, will you guys destroy and uncreate all that times a godzillion?
Yes.
Yep.
Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, pot, pock, shorts, boys, and beyonds. And I know we've got to go to break here in a bit, so I'm just going to do this really quick. So let's do a 1, 2, 3 for all of the limitations we've got on it, on the amount of magic we can create. So just, if you don't even know what we're doing, that's okay. Let's just 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then a 1, 2, 3, 4 to destroy and uncreate all the solidified futures we've created based on that kind of limitation of magic. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Whew. Okay,
awesome.
Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, pot, pock, shorts, boys, beyonds. Awesome. And when we come back, I can explain those a little bit so that we don't leave people wondering what the hell.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that's everybody who's listening are magical words that you can use and magical things that you can use to change your life. And after this break, we're going to be questioning Glenyce. I couldn't think of the right word then. About
you
what,
went blank.
I was thinking torturing. Anyway, we're going to be talking to Glenyce more after the break. So join us after these adverts.
Were you told as a child to grow up, act your age, and stop being childish? And were you made to feel wrong for choosing to have fun? Is that still the same for you now that you're an adult? Have you ever wondered what your life would be like if you created it with more fun, more ease, and in the knowledge that far more choices and possibilities are always available to you? Tune in to the Playground of Possibilities radio show with Laura Borland and Alun Jones, who have fun playing with tools, techniques, and ideas that will inspire you to create more fun, more possibilities, and more magic in your life. Do you want to play? Listen for the Playground of Possibilities radio show every Monday at 3 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and 7 a.m. Pacific on A2Zen.fm.
What would you say if I told you that you could change your life in only 1 hour and all while lying down relaxing? Thousands of people all over the world have. What am I talking about? It's called Access Consciousness, the bars. The bars is an energetic body process that contains 32 different points on your head that, when run, assist you in releasing decisions about any area of your life that you have made solid and as a result cannot change. The bars is the first class in Access Consciousness, a dynamic set of tools and information designed to transform any area of your life. When you have a bars session, the worst that can happen is you feel like you had a fantastic massage. The best thing that can happen is your whole life could change. Go to accessconsciousness.com today to find a facilitator to schedule a private session or to find a bars class in your area. Are you willing to give yourself an hour to change your life?
This is the Playground of Possibilities radio show with Laura Borland and Alun Jones. To participate in the program today, please call in the U.S. 815-880-8255. In Canada, 613-800-8736. In the UK, 4433-0001-0625. Or Skype us at A2Zen.fm. You can also email us questions or comments by sending emails to playgroundofpossibilities@gmail.com. Now, back to the program.
Hello and welcome back to Playground of Possibilities with myself, Alun Jones, my gorgeous co-host Laura Borland, and the amazing and wonderful, magical Glenyce Hughes. So, Glenyce, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, right, wrong, pot and pock. What the fuck is that about? Beep.
So when we do 1, 2, 3s, what we do is we're basically destroying and then creating the energy in a supersized, enhanced, incredible, awesome way. And it just, when we have stuff like that, so in the case of having magic and having a limitation based on we create something magic and then we decide, oh, well, it wasn't us, or it was coincidence, or it was this, or it was that, and then we ensure we can't create beyond it, we have all this really solid energy around, in this case, magic. And so sometimes that's just what's required, the magic that's required to change it is to do some 1, 2, 3s to really destroy and create and break up all that energy so that there are the space of possibilities again. And then we have what's called solidified futures. So nothing is set in stone for our future. However, we make the same choices day in and day out for the most part. So we end up with what's called solidified futures, because if we're making the same choice every day, let's say to have a limitation on our magic, then we've created solidified futures based on limited magic. So then when we do 1, 2, 3, 4s, what we're doing is destroying and then creating those solidified futures. So then we really are in the space of infinite possibilities. And all sorts of magic becomes available because we're not operating from that system anymore, from that really solid energy. It's like in this whole space of what's really possible with magic.
Right. Awesome. Brilliant. Thank you so much for that. And the POC thing, just so you know, everyone, is the Access Consciousness Clearing Statement, which Laura and I don't use on this show, but you can find out more about that at the Access Consciousness. No, you can't. You can find out more about it at accessconsciousness.com, but you can also find out more about it at theclearingstatement.com, which is theclearingstatement.com. So there's two things that are coming to mind about magic, Glenyce, and one of them, I have to pick this up because the word I couldn't get out before the break was question. And, all I wanted to say was torture or inquisit. And so it's like, how many lifetimes have we been in the Salem witch trials and, all of that witch hunt stuff, which is why we won't tap into the magic that we be.
Yes. Yeah. So how many oaths, vows, commitments, contracts, promises, obligations, communities, fealties, anything I haven't mentioned, do we all have to never being the magic that we truly be from all lifetime, space, dimension, reality, universes, and anywhere I haven't mentioned? All of those, will you guys revoke, recant, rescind, renounce, denounce, reclaim, destroy, and uncreate them all times a godzillion?
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, talk, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Holy doodles.
I know, I'm yawning like a madman here.
That's a lot. And if you think about it, how many lifetimes have we had that we have been killed for being magical and said probably, let's say there was a lifetime where our family was tortured because we were being magical. So then we said to ourselves, or we said to somebody else, I'll never be magical again. And that's a promise, that's an obligation that we energetically hold in place. So we come into, let's say, this lifetime and we hear all these magical things and we know it's possible, but we have what some people describe as a wall in front of them, or they try it and it doesn't work, or all of that, and that can a lot of times be the oaths and vows that we've set in place. So if we just use that clearing, it can open up so much so that we can be the magic we truly be. And everywhere that you guys and all of us have misidentified and misapplied magic, we destroy and uncreate all of that too.
Yes, awesome.
Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, talk, shorts, boys, and beyonds.
Excuse me.
You
You're boring me.
And I'll keep talking. Glenyce, I'm curious. It's like, when did you begin to become aware of the magic that you be in your life?
That's a great question. I really probably became more aware of it about 13 years ago when I took Reiki for the first time. And Reiki, for anybody who doesn't know, it's an energy modality, energy healing modality, hands-on, Japanese. And I wasn't aware prior to that about energy, about anything beyond what I could see with my eyes and what we might call really this reality. And I took that class and it really opened me up, and I just started reading everything and really kind of diving into it all. And then I could look back in my life and see where I was magic and the magic I created, but I did exactly what we talked about. It's like, oh, that's a coincidence, or, that's just silly, and this is a really funny one, but I tell it anyway because it just makes me giggle. So when I was young, even though I have 4 sisters, none of them really had an interest in doing hair, and I've always had a very fun interest in hair and styling, and I wanted to French braid, and I could French braid hair in a person like sitting in front of me, but I couldn't do my own because you have to basically do the braiding behind your head. And I was so upset because my sisters wouldn't help me, and I couldn't do it. And I went to bed one night with it on my mind to really be able to do that. And the next morning I woke up and I could do it. And,
wow.
Like it's just those sorts of things that I always just said, oh, well, I must have, dreamt about how to do it or whatever, that I just totally took away the magic. And yet it was. So I've always been it, like everybody else, but I didn't actually start to acknowledge or even recognize it as magic until about 13 years ago, and then really started seeing even more once I started studying Access Consciousness about 4 years ago, because a lot of the magic that I was acknowledging as magic was what we were talking about earlier, from the doing. And with Access, it's inviting me into more of the being of it, and really can start to see that a lot more. So it's been a fun journey.
Oh, thank you. I'm grateful for you sharing that. We've actually got Eleanor's online with a question for you, Glenyce. How awesome is that?
That is
awesome.
So I know how this works, but I think Bree's going to do some magic, and then we're going to be able to hear Eleanor. No?
Hello, Ellen.
Live. I'm here. I'm laughing.
Awesome, Eleanor.
Hi, Alun. Hi, Laura.
Hi, Eleanor.
Hi. Thank you
What's
so
your
much.
question for Glenyce?
Yes. Last week I had sent in a question to you when you were on the German telecall, and you answered it. My question was, how do I create a lover? What would it take to create a lover by magic? And part of my answer was to do the pot and pocking of all the past lovers I had, because it would have been limiting on what I was about to receive. I was opening it up. So I pot and pocked all the relationships of my past, and I've done it many times. And lo and behold, 2 days later, I get a phone call at work from a past lover who I hadn't seen or spoken to in 5 years. To me, that is magic. But I couldn't understand, if I had pot and pocked all of them, why was this one coming back after 5 years? And, I mean, I really didn't want him back. But I don't understand if I pot and pocked him. It's clear to him, what the hell was he coming back after 5 years for? That's my question.
Well, you know, yeah, absolutely, Eleanor. So one thing with questions, the why question will never get us anywhere. So whenever we ask why, you know, in this case, why is he coming back, what the why question actually does, and this is I'm so grateful you asked this, because it really helps everybody listening, is when we ask why, what we end up doing is what I call chase our tail. So there's never an actual awareness to a why question. We set ourselves up to never be able to create more when we ask the why. So with that said, so from now on, guys, don't use why. What you might want to look at with that, Eleanor, is we're all aware. All of us are really super aware. So likely when you were pot and pocking him, it brought you to mind for him. So energetically, it was like you're clearing him, and you came to mind for him. So he just followed through on that. And you get to have choice. So you get to choose whether you want him back or not. And it sounds like you don't. So cool. You get to take action on that. And
yeah, that's exactly what it was like. The energy kind of ruffled both of us up, actually. And I did speak with him, and I did choose. It was, you know, it was a choice that flowed out. And okay, all right. Thank you so much. That's brilliant.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, and you know, will you acknowledge, Eleanor, the magic that you created with that, and really like, wow, cool. I cleared all this stuff. He came back. I used my awareness. That's still not going to work for me. So, universe, what else you got?
Okay. Oh, so to follow up with more questions.
Absolutely.
Okay. That is great. Thank you so much, Dennis. Loved your pictures on your vacation.
Oh, wonderful. Thanks, Eleanor. It's great to talk to you.
Yeah, it's a delight. It's a delight for me, and that's another part of it, to see pictures of you and hubby. That brings up an energy, and it's been bringing up more and more. So I think all of those things combined is really, you know, it's matching the energy that I'm looking for.
Yes, and you're matching the energy that you're willing to create.
And receive.
Yes. You don't need to look for it. It's creating it and receiving it. So what else is possible that you've never even considered?
Yes.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you, Eleanor.
Thanks, Eleanor.
Thank you.
I really like what you did there, Glenyce. You gave me a bit of a wedgie. So, and I might not be able to say it back to you, even though you only said it 10 seconds ago. So you said about kind of like asking and receiving, but not looking.
Yes, because if you perceive that energy, Laura, when we say, that's what I'm looking for, there's a bit of a disempowerment, because it means that we have to look for it, which means we might not find it. But if we're doing it from the place of I'm creating it and then I'm receiving it, that's total empowerment.
Wow.
Yeah, I can't even hear that. It's like,
well, maybe we should talk about this
after the break. Yes, sorry, Laura.
Yeah. You guys are so hot. You finished each other's sentences. I love it.
We are one. But yeah, maybe what we do is we come back, we go to break, and when we come back, we'll explore that a bit more. Because I'm sure if neither of us could hear it, then there's probably lots of other people who can't hear it either. And Keisha's like, good God, yes. So Bree, take us to break, and we'll be back to play with Glenyce in a few short minutes.
Were you told as a child to grow up, act your age, and stop being childish? And were you made to feel wrong for choosing to have fun? Is that still the same for you now that you're an adult? Have you ever wondered what your life would be like if you created it with more fun, more ease, and in the knowledge that far more choices and possibilities are always available to you? Tune in to the Playground of Possibilities radio show with Laura Borland and Alun Jones, who have fun playing with tools, techniques, and ideas that will inspire you to create more fun, more possibilities, and more magic in your life. Do you want to play? Listen for the Playground of Possibilities radio show every Monday at 3 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and 7 a.m. Pacific on A2Zen.fm.
What would you say if I told you that you could change your life in only 1 hour and all while lying down relaxing? Thousands of people all over the world have. What am I talking about? It's called Access Consciousness, the bars. The bars is an energetic body process that contains 32 different points on your head that, when run, assist you in releasing decisions about any area of your life that you have made solid and as a result cannot change. The bars is the first class in Access Consciousness, a dynamic set of tools and information designed to transform any area of your life. When you have a bars session, the worst that can happen is you feel like you had a fantastic massage. The best thing that can happen is your whole life could change. Go to accessconsciousness.com today to find a facilitator to schedule a private session or to find a bars class in your area. Are you willing to give yourself an hour to change your life?
This is the Playground of Possibilities radio show with Laura Borland and Alun Jones. To participate in the program today, please call in the U.S. 815-880-8255. In Canada, 613-800-8736. In the UK, 4433-0001-0625. Or Skype us at A2Zen.fm. You can also email us questions or comments by sending emails to playgroundofpossibilities@gmail.com. Now, back to the program.
Hello and welcome back to Playground of Possibilities. We're all playing in the chat room with myself, Laura Borland, my lovely playmate, Alun Glenyce. No, I don't think that's your name. Glenyce then is on spinning. It's like, I can't get their words. And it's like we're all having this mad chat about what did Glenyce just say? And and someone saying speak English. So Glenyce, I think you have to say a little bit more about that.
Oh, I love it. I love it. All right. So with what Eleanor said, she said it's the energy she was looking for in the world in terms of creating a lover. And even if you guys right now just be aware of your energy, of your body while I say that. So looking for something, creating something.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So looking for something means it's outside of us, and we become disempowered, and in some senses we could say a victim, because we could say, well, I looked for it, and I never found it.
Look for inspiration and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And it goes back to, what if we be it? What if it's us already? That lover energy that Eleanor's talking about, she bees it.
Yeah.
She can be it for herself. Now, yes, I get that it may be more fun to have something external too. And what if we be these things for ourselves first? how much more then would we be incongruent with what we're looking for? And so it's just the knowing that we create whatever it is we'd like in our life. So if we want to have the point of view that we have to look for it and find it, and that's a lot of times, especially with lovers, it's like, oh, I'm going to look for it, and then I found it. I found my soulmate. I found my lover. I found the man of my dreams or the woman of my dreams. And what if we actually create it? And what if we be it? That, for me, is so much more empowering than
so much
looking
more
for
expansive.
it. Yeah.
So, yeah, one question that comes for me immediately as you say that, Glenyce, is, what more or what else am I looking for that I can actually create and be?
Yes. Yeah, so everything that we're all looking for, you guys just destroy it and create it right now?
Yes!
I've the Godzillion, right, wrong, good, bad, all 9 pot, shorts, boys, and beyond.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it's just what would you like to create in the world? What is it that you've been looking for? And it doesn't mean everything you've been looking for is what you'd like to create. What you want to be really aware of is possibly you've been looking for it as a way not to create it, as a way not for it to show up, because you didn't really wish to have it in the first place.
Ooh.
Oh, we just over one already? There's another one?
WTF, Glenyce Hughes. Hell, woman, what are you doing?
Okay.
You didn't think this was going to be an intro call, did you?
Back up. So can you say more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, and Eleanor, just so you know this, I'm not talking about you in this regards because we know your energy with this and what you're creating, but let's say it was somebody else who was asking that and had a whole different energy with it. A lot of times people have the point of view in this reality that you do need to have a wife or a husband or a lover or some sort of a connection, and they don't actually really wish to have it, but because this reality says you're nothing without it, so then they'll put all of their time and energy looking for it to ensure they never, ever create it, because they don't actually really wish to have it. So everything that you've been saying you really, really, really are looking for in your life, but you're only looking for it so you don't ever have to create it. Will you destroy and uncreate all that times a Godzillion?
Oh, yes. Hell yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, all 9 pot, shorts, beyond. And it comes down to really being willing to be honest to you. Doesn't matter what you tell the world. Maybe it's easier to tell your mom that you're looking for a husband because that was important for her to hear, but you're not. It doesn't matter, but be honest with you. So you know that if a lover is important or not, or if more money is something you'd like, or a different job, or kids, or whatever it is that maybe you've been looking for desperately but don't have. Because if you haven't created it, chances are there's something there, and it's either it's not of interest to you, or there's just some limitations in the way, and that's where Eleanor on the call, a call I did last week, she had some past relationships that was holding her from finding a new lover. So it's like really look at what it is you would truly like in your life, not based on this reality, not based on what your mom would like, not based on what your family thinks is right, not based on what your coworkers think is right. It's like, what would be fun for you?
Ooh, and Keisha asked a great question. She says, so would that be using your magic against you?
Absolutely, Keisha. Absolutely. Because then what we end up doing is, and most of us aren't honest enough with ourselves about that. So let's say it is somebody asking for a lover, but they don't really want one, so they're looking, and because they don't find one, then they say, well, then I'm not magic enough, I'm not whatever, pretty enough, good enough, all that bullshit. So then they end up just judging the hell out of themselves, which stops all possibilities of magic. Instead of if you're honest with yourself and say, hey, that in this 10 seconds, that isn't fun for me, so cool, what else is possible? Then you can tell people around you what they need to hear. Oh, I'm looking for one. I have one, but I can't tell you about him because he's married or whatever it might be. Tell people around you what they require to hear so they shut up about it, and you just go on in your everyday life.
So, I might ask here then for all of this, universe, show me everywhere I'm using my magic against me.
Yeah.
Fuck. No.
Yeah.
I just fell off my seat.
Like,
Man.
wow. Everywhere. There are so many places that we do that.
Can I just clear that before you say anything?
Oh yeah, please do. Please do.
So
Actually, Glenyce, you've rendered us both speechless. I'd be grateful if you could just keep talking, because we seem to be finding it quite hard to find words.
Oh God! So everywhere that you've been using your magic against you and not acknowledging that, will you guys destroy and uncreate all times a godzillion?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, POD, POC, shorts, boys, and beyonds. And for some reason, also everywhere that other people have been using their magic against you too, will you destroy and you've been allowing it? Will you destroy and uncreate all that times a godzillion?
Oh yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, POD, POC, shorts, boys, and beyonds.
Yeah, because I'm not willing to acknowledge that people would actually use their magic against me. Wow.
Wow.
So, yeah, because no one's ever really that mean.
Exactly. Would people really be that unkind? Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's the stuff we don't want to look at. It's the stuff that we know we wouldn't choose that, so nobody will. But that's what I call, we put on our blinders and we ensure that we get tripped up by it. So everywhere you're not willing to acknowledge where people are using their magic against you and you're allowing it, will you destroy and uncreate all times a godzillion?
Oh, yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, POD, POC, shorts, boys, because they can only use it against you if you allow it. So this isn't about you being a victim and them being horrible. This is you actually allowing it. And even having the willing, or even having the point of view that nobody would do that is a way of allowing it.
Oh, okay.
So
because then we're not willing to see it.
Sorry, Glenyce, go on, carry on.
Yeah. I was just going to say, if we're not willing to start doing it, then we're actually allowing it.
So Chrissy asked a great question where she's saying, how do we not allow us to use their magic against us?
You take off the blinders that people wouldn't use it against you, and you just be in your awareness, and you don't have a point of view about it. So it's like, cool, okay. So I'm trying to think of an example where somebody would use a magic. So let's say you're in a relationship and that other person has the point of view that money's really hard to make. And you buy into that, and so it's not like they're not doing it from a vindictive, they've got that point of view. You're buying into it because you don't want to acknowledge that they've got that point of view. Right there, that's magic being used against you, and you're allowing it. So if you're willing to have the point of view and no point of view about it, and see that, oh wow, okay, that's the point of view that they're operating from, what's it going to take for me to outcreate that?
Right.
And that's interesting because that ties into Keisha's question about not being willing to be aware of where it's functioning from. So it's almost like be willing to have the awareness without having a point of view about it.
Yeah, because the minute you have a point of view, then you're locking yourself up into it. Because if we go, oh my gosh, my spouse has the point of view that money's hard to make, and that's going to affect me, and they're horrible, and they shouldn't have that, and they need to change that. Then you're just as locked up into it as if you're going, hey, wait a minute, this would be okay, cool. They've got that point of view. How can I outcreate that? And it doesn't mean that you
outcreate that at all. We've got another call.
I know, 2 in 1 show. How did we get so lucky?
Awesome. So Laurie is on the line with a question.
Hello,
Laurie.
Hi, Laurie.
Hi. Okay, I'd love some feedback on this. I got the pleasure of seeing a sister-in-law that I just allowed myself to just get totally, I lose myself completely around her. And, I'm talking completely. And I allowed it to spiral. It started at Christmas. And I can see where I allowed it to spiral up until just recently. And when I seen her on Saturday again, it's like I don't even know, when I'm in a place like that and I feel so, I'm going to say lost, how do I use what magic can I be when I don't even feel like I'm there?
So, truth, whose is that?
Oh, wow, that's hers.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
That's why, wow, and it's so, it's like toxic. Okay, so how do I not lose me in that? Who does it belong to that I'm picking up on?
Okay, so first off, are you willing to have the awareness that that's where she operates from? Like truth, are you willing to be aware that that is her stuff and that's where she lives?
I'm getting kind of a yes and a no.
Okay. So everywhere that you would so wish somebody would choose different than that, we destroy and uncreate at all times a gazillion?
Yes.
Yeah, right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, pot, pock, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Because that, with all of us, you guys, we really, really can see the greatness, the full potential of everyone around us, and we often stop there and we assume that because that's possible for them, they'll choose it. So in this case, Lori, it's really looking and saying, okay, she's got this full potential, and this is where she's choosing to operate in this 10 seconds.
Wow.
And anywhere that you want to make yourself wrong for that, because if you could just be a little bit more, if you could just do a little bit more, if you could say the right thing, she might operate from her full potential. We just destroy and uncreate all those lies times a godzillion.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, pot, pock, shorts, boys, and beyonds. And just acknowledge, wow, that's what she chooses. So then in those moments when you are with her, one thing that's really reading for me in this 10 seconds is to be running the crazy phrase from Access, which is everything is the opposite of what it appears to be. Nothing is the opposite of what it appears to be, over and over and over again, because that will really start. I always see that crazy phrase like when we shake up a snow globe and all of those pieces are floating around. I really perceive the energy of everything's the opposite of what it appears to be, and nothing is the opposite of what it appears to be is that. So all of those pieces are floating and breaking up so that there's more possibilities. And it's not that you're doing it for her, you're doing it for you. What she chooses in those 10 seconds and 10 seconds and 10 seconds is up to her. But that's for you to be in that space. And then in the question of, okay, how can I use this to my advantage?
Right. Ooh, that's so really uncomfortable.
Yeah. Everywhere you went to the wrongness of that, will you destroy and uncreate it all?
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, pot, pock, shorts, boys, and beyond.
Oh, you know what? And I'll have to ask myself, too, what do I think that means? Manipulating her, or manipulating the energy or using it to my advantage, whatever I think that means.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so is when we ask that question, I mean, it could be that you're using it to your advantage and you're going to mess with her and, take stuff from her because you've got the upper hand. And it could also mean that you're adding consciousness to the situation.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's almost like I'm thinking that if I'm manipulating it, I'm going to make her more right in her behavior.
Yes.
And actually, that's really interesting because that is something I've never recognized before. And as you've been talking, I'm also very aware of actually how much I would almost hate to admit this, but I actually care about her so much.
Yeah.
That it makes me crazy to see her like that.
Yeah.
And I want to care for her. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I just want to call you a superior bitch.
Oh, what? Oh, well, I never. Golly. On the radio, too.
Oh, millions will hear me calling you a superior bitch, Lori. I'm sorry, but it really is, where when we look at somebody and think that they should be choosing something different, we then become the superior bitch and superior bastard, because it's really they're choosing it because they're choosing it. Interesting choice. Now, what do I get to choose based on what they're choosing?
Wow. Apparently I like being a superior bitch then.
You're the only one, of course. I never.
Yeah, okay, thanks, Alun.
Nope, never a superior bitch, not me.
Okay.
Me neither, not at all.
Okay. Wow. Okay, so what would it take to choose something different there? What is it that that almost kind of blew a few brain cells or fuzzied my head? Yeah, so, it's like go ahead.
Well, and this might be different than what you're going with, but like truth, are you willing to be the more conscious, are you willing to be the most conscious person in that dynamic?
Wow, that's heavy.
Yeah. Yeah. So what does being the most conscious person mean to you?
Oh my God. There was I would have to make others right. I would be wrong. I would have to do something I don't want to do. Ow!
So
Yeah.
everything that is, everywhere you've misidentified and misapplied consciousness and choosing the most consciousness in certain situations, you just try and create all that times a gazillion and return to sender with consciousness.
Yeah.
Right, wrong, good, bad, online, pot, pock, shorts, boys, and beyonds.
You know, I was just thinking, I'd have to, instead of consciousness light, I'd have to be doing consciousness right.
Oh, right. Yeah, because you can certainly do consciousness right and wrong, definitely.
Exactly. Oh, Jesus.
So, Laurie, thank you so much for your call. Is there anything else you want before we
Thank you.
finish? Awesome. Thank you so much for calling in. I just want to very quickly just mention a couple of things about you, Glenyce, if I may, about how people get in touch with you. So, because that's letting people know where you are. You can get in touch with Glenyce at www.glenyce.net. So you can find out more about Glenyce there. You can also find her on the voiceamerica.com radio shows, and she is living in the magic of possibilities. So very quickly as well, because I know I've got literally 2.5 minutes to get my word out here. Glenyce is doing this amazing special offer for something that she created, and I'm desperately trying to look for it on my thing. So it's how to create more magic with entities. And what Glenyce is offering here is a telecall, a loop with some clearings, the handout of the written clearings in PDF, and also an ebook with step-by-step instructions on how to create with more with entities. And she's normally offering that at $97, and now she's offering it to everyone who's listening to the show for $47. So if you would like that, you can contact Glenyce directly via her website, I think. Is that right, Glenyce?
Yeah, it is on my store under the product page on my webpage, but if you have trouble finding it, guys, just email me or message me on Facebook and I'll get you the direct link.
Fabulous. Thank you so much for that. And also, Glenyce is in, I'm mentioning this one particularly just because I'm in the UK, but Glenyce is coming to London in February, the 11th to the 15th, and she's running the Access core classes, the 5 days to change your life. And if you want more magic in your life, if you want to be able to change things with even more ease, come to London. And Glenyce is all over the world. If you check our website, you can see where she's at. Find somewhere that's near to you, or even host her, because she's an awesome lady. She is just an awesome lady to kind of create with. So yeah, come to London, or visit her somewhere else, or host yourself. But it'd be lovely to see you in London.
Would be so lovely to see you in London. I am so excited for that class. Yay!
Yeah, absolutely. So Laura, before I hog the rest of the last 45 seconds, is there anything else you want to add?
No, just to say, please, such a heartfelt thank you, Glenyce. It's been really awesome and amazing, having you on, and it's been fun playing with you in the playground, and just for the gift that you've been to us all, and for what it's created for all of us.
Oh, you're so welcome. I'm just so grateful to have been part of this, and I think maybe we need to do, I don't know, a 5-hour radio show one day?
Yeah, I was thinking
totally.
It's not long enough.
Absolutely. So thank you for everyone who's been here. Thank you, Glenyce, so much for coming. We are truly grateful. So we better go before the music's going to cut in. So see, I have no idea what we're talking about next week, but
thank you for choosing to listen to the Playground of Possibilities radio show with Laura Borland and Alun Jones. We hope you enjoyed playing with us today and that you'll come play with us next Monday at 3 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and 7 a.m. Pacific on A2Zen.fm. Until then, what would it take for you to enjoy playing with choices and possibilities to create more